Before we get into some of the more lofty claims of old Aunt Hillary, might as well take a look at some of big tech's election misinformation policies. I don't know for any reason or whatsoever, but you know what, hey, might as well refresh your memory, because I know that this one's YouTube here, but it's mostly just going to be a big blanket statement, and this one's more or less just going to end up hitting the high points. So let's just see, before we take a look at the statements there, what we're going to be dealing with here. What is verboten on big tech? So, certain types of misleading or deceptive content with serious risks of egregious harm. When you're just talking about elections, what kind of egregious harm are you going to be saying, especially with some asshole who's got like a $75 mic, a $50 fucking webcam, and a couple of fucking blue spotlights in the background? I don't really know what egregious harm you're going to be dealing with here, but okay, to each their own, I suppose. Are not allowed on YouTube. This includes certain types of misinformation that can cause real world harm. Yes, guys, the internet is now real life, according to Google, I guess, whatever. Like certain types of technically manipulated content and content interfering with our democratic processes. Yes, of course. If you find content that violates this policy, report it. Great, wonderful. I'm not calling for that because I don't like snitches, and we all know the old turn of phrase, snitches and them getting stitches. I think reporting anything online is fucking asshole cancer. I'm pretty sure. Like, I would really have to go back in time, because as far as I've been concerned, and as far as I've been online, especially when it comes to having my channels open, I have never, ever once, and if you can find any evidence of it out there, I fucking beg you, but I can guarantee I have never reported a single thing. I've seen things that I haven't liked, and you know what I've done with that? Oh, okay, next thing, okay? That even comes down to comments in the comment section. Outside of just blatant fucking spam that adds absolutely nothing to the comment section, I've never gotten rid of any of the comments that are there. If you want to post dumb shit, frankly, at this point, it's been in on or around a year that I haven't really paid much attention to the comment section. Actually, nope, I gotta run that back here. A couple of weeks ago, I seen one of those stupid Telegram scams, or one of those bot back and forth gimmicks that I seen, because it's like, okay, a video that didn't really have all that many views on it, and then I seen it had something like 18 comments. It's like, that don't make no sense, so I just went and took a look just to make sure there wasn't some kind of fucking back and forth that would end up getting hit or something like that, but no, it was a block, or it was a spam chain, so I got rid of that one. So that's about the only time that I've moderated the content, or the comment section, because that can be just free use. I don't really care what goes on there, and reporting shit is just ultimately gay, so why push the issue? I think that's totally fucking retarded. You can just go ahead and not engage, or you can just move on with your fucking day. Those are the things you can do. Nothing that you see online through this screen that we're interacting with right now, nothing that I say, nothing that I do can fucking hurt you, so why are you taking it so personally? Just move on with your day. Anyways, but we're just going back to the hug box that is YouTube right now, that just wants to sanitize the world and how fucking wonderful it'll be. Instructions for video or reporting violations and community guidelines are available here. Yeah, exactly. It's right next to where your appeals will go. You can get a nice detailed outline for your community guidelines where you can report things. But when it comes to appealing stuff, yeah, it just gets sent here. Just make sure that you send it to this "we're never gonna fucking see what you're saying" at gmail.com. Great, wonderful, fantastic. If you found multiple videos or comments for a single channel that you would like to... Sorry, what? Comments? Oh, okay, from a single channel that you'd like to report, you can report the channel. Why are you why are you pushing this stuff? Oh, because we want to keep everybody safe. No, you just want to quash political speech from one side, because let's be completely honest, when we get into the meat of this stuff, there's only one side of this argument that you really want to get rid of, okay? And that's the entire reason behind this election misinformation policy. Even if you get down to the medical misinformation COOF policy that's out there, I have a warning on my YouTube channel. Over here on Rumble, everything's cool and copacetic. You don't really have to worry about anything, because you can say just about anything that you want, but eventually this video is going to go up on YouTube, so, you know, we'll just keep it above board, because you guys know my thoughts and opinions on that type of stuff, and we need not tread over that well-worn ground. But even with all of the different developments when it comes to the COOF, because remember, when this shit first came down in early 2020, You couldn't even say COVID without your video getting yeeted just like that. Now you can start to question different alternative treatments that are out there. Things that you couldn't say beforehand, and something that maybe potentially somewhat or another ended up getting my first video, getting the warning on my channel. I can't even get it looked at now, even though that policy has changed, okay? And then even on my secondary channel, okay? Where I'm nice and wonderful and I keep my language above board and everything like that. And I was investigating CDC, finally starting to recognize ivermectin. That was all that I was doing on there, and then that video, it got struck like that. Thankfully, I did win that appeal by, I don't know, the grace of God or something, or putting in enough alphabet agencies into the appeal. Who fucking knows? Maybe I'll just make that my blanket appeal policy going forward. But long and short of it is, if you would just listen to the experts, adhere to what the fact checkers have to say, you'll be fine, you'll be wonderful, you'll be fantastic. All you need to do is just bend over for big tech, and they won't ever fuck around with you. You just have to continue to catch up with the pack. Don't fall back too far, because they'll cull the herd every once in a while, and then everybody who thinks that they're on that side is like, what happened? I was adhering to everything. No. Part of the party until you're no longer a part of the party. Okay, so what are you not allowed to post on YouTube? Okay, these policies prohibit certain types of content relating to free and fair democratic elections. Oh boy, wonderful, fantastic. What about putting up poster boards in windows so people can observe the ballot counting process? What about that going on? No? Don't want to talk about that? Oh, okay. Don't post election-related content on YouTube if it fits any of the descriptions noted below. Voter suppression. Content aimed to mislead voters about the time, place, means, or eligibility requirements for voting, or false claims that could materially discourage voting. I don't know why. Like, okay, even the medical misinformation policy, vaccine misinformation policy, all of those misinformation policies, if you're taking life advice, okay, if you're taking serious advice outside of just clarifying certain things, if you aren't presented with the evidence that's around here and all that, if you're living your life by the whims of somebody who has a catchy thumbnail, you're functionally retarded and you shouldn't be allowed to drive, let alone vote. That's my opinion, but okay. But if somebody tries to tell you about voting times or voting availability, that could get you struck. Okay, that's weird. But what about if there's certain unofficial poll observers that are out there, like there was in, oh God, where did I see that? Arizona or something? Somebody paying attention to what the different drop boxes are doing? Yeah. What if you report on that? That would somehow be voter suppression, I guess. Kind of, potentially. Who knows? Candidate eligibility. Can I vote? Well, you can technically write in anybody that you want on the right-hand part of that, so that's interesting. Content that advances false claims related to the technical eligibility requirements for current political candidates and sitting elected government officials to serve in office. Oh, okay, cool. So eventually when they do end up indicting Trump over the Mar-a-Lago raid, and then there's kind of some questionability whether or not he's fit to hold office, because, okay, according to one of the laws that he can be charged with, he can no longer hold office in some form or fashion. But according to the United States Constitution, any eligible American born in the United States of America over the age of 35 can hold the office of presidency. So then there starts to become an interesting legal proposition that's out there. But if that were to happen, that is not allowed to be bandied about on YouTube. That's what they're setting up there. That's very interesting. Incitement to interfere with the democratic process. Okay. Content encouraging others to interfere with the democratic process. Okay, that's nice and vague and nebulous. To include obstructing or interrupting voting procedures. Yeah, that don't make no sense. If you like one candidate and you don't like the other, guess what? Vote for the one that you like, and refute the talking points of the other side. Like, this isn't that fucking difficult. Okay, make sure that this is all in space. Distribution of hacked materials. Why is that interesting? My mind gets a little bit jogging here. Distribution of hacked materials. Why is that under the election misinformation policy? Why is that there? I guess they reserve the right just in case there's another Hunter Biden laptop or Hillary Clinton email type situation. I guess, like, distribution of hacked materials, that should be for like everything though. You shouldn't be putting hacked materials out there. That's kind of against like the fraud There's laws in the books for that, but okay. Unless, of course, you're the NSA and you're allowed to get away with certain things. Content that contains hacked information, the disclosure of which may interfere with the democratic process. Oh, like exposing corruption and then having that somehow sway their opinion of a certain candidate. Interesting. And again, why this is included under the umbrella of election misinformation. Election integrity. Okay, interesting. Okay. Content advancing false claims that widespread fraud, errors, or glitches occurred in the certain past national elections, or content that claims that a certified results of those elections were false. Policy currently applies to any past U.S. presidential elections. Oh, okay, because that just used to be specifically the 2020 presidential election. Okay, cool. So what about all those Democrats bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining over 2016, including all of the evidence and all of the video recordings that was going on in the the House of Representatives, especially what Nancy Pelosi was whining and complaining about. Maxine Waters was doing the exact same thing, calling the winner of the 2016 presidential election illegitimate. Very interesting how this is selectively enforced and how it's just expanded to be any presidential election. But Senate elections, House member elections, city council elections, those are all fine. Okay. The 2021 German federal election, weird. Okay, and then the 2014 and 18 Brazilian presidential elections. Keep in mind, this isn't a complete list. We reserve the right to just control the narrative around any elections that are out there. Okay, so very interesting. So they only have past U.S. presidential elections. What about laying the groundwork for future presidential elections? Go with me on this one. Hillary Clinton questions the integrity of the 2024 election by already claiming right-wing extremists have a plan to steal it, but offers no evidence and a fundraising campaign because she is laying the groundwork for running in 2024. It's so fucking obvious right here, okay? Why would she come out and make these statements? Why would she be fundraising right now? And after she said she was questioning Biden's win was doing Putin's work. Interesting, because she still hasn't come to grips with the fact that she lost in 2016. You fucking lost. They did a recount. A specific select recount in Wisconsin, and guess what? You lost by an even greater margin. But you can't reconcile the fact that you thought that you were the chosen one and you fucking blew it, stupid. Hillary Clinton said extremist Republicans. It's so nice how you can just slander one side of the aisle and just get away scot-free on the other. It's just it's really wild. It is. Have a plan underway to steal the 2024 presidential election and a video urging Americans to vote for Democratic legislatures in their states. See, she's laying the groundwork here. I would argue that this is kind of a soft launch for her campaign, but we'll see all this stuff rev up in the next couple of months, if not the next year or so. But she is also, it's noticing the polls as well, noticing how well Biden is leading the country, and she's like, oh, fuck, we're totally going to get fucking smoked. I can just go back to my better scene on this one. How about that? There we go. Yeah, no, she's laying the groundwork here because it's going to be a fucking clown show here in a couple of weeks right now, or when this gets uploaded on YouTube. Maybe it's already happened. Haven't really planned all of that stuff out, but regardless, Democrats are going to get dog walked. They're going to end up losing a few governor's mansions if everything plans out accordingly. Might end up losing control of the Senate, and most assuredly are going to end up losing control of the House and looking completely fucking inept in the process. So, what do you say? Okay. Oh, well, the dastardly Republicans are going to have control of literally everything. Therefore, they're just going to secure elections going into the future in perpetuity forever. All right, cool. Way to self-snitch on yourself and then just also project your own wishes and desires onto the rest of the world, okay? Very interesting self-own, but okay. The 2-minute clip urged Americans to look past the 2022 midterms. Yeah, Democrats, don't get too upset, okay? Just brace for impact for 2022. Look ahead to 2024 when your queen returns, okay? Where she can take back that throne that was rightfully hers, that was stolen 8 years ago, and turn out to vote in their local elections because she claims the conservative majority U.S. Supreme Court might give state legislatures the power to overturn the results. What? Under that amendment that's there where the state legislatures have the right to decide where their electoral votes go? Wow, it's almost like it's enshrined in the Constitution. It's almost like it's a part of the 1878 Electoral Votes Act. It's almost like it's a part of that where the states states decide where the will of their people, their voices, where they will be heard, which candidate will be assigned those votes. It's almost like it's law, and that if the Supreme Court has to take a look at that law, they're just going to enforce the fucking black and white written text. Oh my god. The failed 2016 Democratic presidential candidate, yep, exactly, did not provide any proof of these plans, but she's like, literally look at, there's 6 Republicans on the Supreme Court. Just take a look at some of their decisions. Do you really think that there's 6 Republicans out there, or do you think that it's Alito, Clarence Thomas, sometimes Neil Gorsuch, and then 3 fucking centrist cucks, okay? Like, let's keep it $1.50, and they're just really mad about the only black guy who's up there, which is kind of funny, because if you use their logic against him, that would be racist against him, but it's fine. He's just an Uncle Tom, and you guys just want to try to lynch him and his wife. It's nothing racist about that, because prejudice plus power plus whatever the fuck you want to throw on top of that. The video was put out on Twitter. Would that violate their election misinformation policy? Oh no, they probably haven't formulated whatever the fuck they want to do here in the future. Don't worry about it. By the progressive group Indivisible Guide. Interesting. Which is running an initiative aimed at promoting progressive candidates in local state races on a website called Crush the Coup. Oh my god, brother. You motherfuckers cannot get by. You cannot let January 6th fucking go, okay? How many people died that day? Ashley Babbitt. You want to discuss that shit? No, you don't? All right, worse than 9/11, worse than the Civil War, blah, blah, blah. You continue your own fucking narrative. Nobody takes it seriously anymore. The next time anybody's really going to take a look at January 6th and their stupid fucking committee is when Trump rolls up on the 14th of November to just lay his dick down on the table and everybody's like, just shut up, no, just no further questions. While the group says Democrats winning the midterms is critical and fucking impossible, it also says they need to be focused on the larger issue of fighting MAGA Republicans at the state level. Yeah, of course. How long before it starts to be, we need to put them all in a catapult and fucking launch them over the wall? Crush. Jesus Christ! Don't sneak up on me like that. The last thing you see like that is, or rather, the last person to see that expression was Jeffrey Epstein. Crush the Coup's website homepage needs a huge capital lettering. Oh, reads in huge capital lettering. Sorry, MAGA has a plan to steal the 2024 election. We have to stop them today. It further claims the Democrats need to focus on winning 29 local seats in swing states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Oh, okay, cool, wonderful, fantastic. You're gonna get dog walked in most of those places anyways. You might have an opportunity to win 1 or 2. Clinton scoffed when claiming the prospects of Republicans trying to challenge the results of the next presidential election is keeping me up at night. Well, no, that's all the meth that you needs in order to stay upright, because we've seen you try to walk before. It just mostly involves you stopping several feet before an open van door and just kind of seizing your way into it while a couple of security guards throw you into the back of it. Anyways, keeping me up at night, and said that allowing GOP legislatures to control states is a threat to democracy. See a lot of talking points between YouTube's policies and Hillary Clinton. I'm sure that that's just simply a coincidence. Right-wing controlled Supreme Court may be poised to rule on giving states legislatures, yes, you heard me correctly, state legislatures, the power to overturn presidential elections. No, and that right there, that would be, if this was given by a different person, just say what was to give this type of speech, okay? If he was to say that exact same stuff, it would be headline news right now. Trump is calling for the Supreme Court to overturn elections and set the precedent into the future. Hillary Clinton's doing the exact same thing. She is literally laying the fucking groundwork out there. She is sowing the seeds, blowing the dog whistle, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just to stoke the fires to make 2024 the craziest fucking election cycle. As if it wasn't going to be wild enough already, because you're going to have Trump coming in, and then you're going to have whatever's left of Biden until he gets replaced, and That whole thing is going to be a fucking shit show, but the fact that they aren't really addressing 2022 already lets you know that they've just kind of resigned to their fate on that one. So let's not look too far into the future, okay? You got to conquer the battle that's ahead of you right now, and then in, you know, the couple of days and then the week after that, you can just feel free to fucking default dance on their graves, because that'll be fun as fuck. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.